Hey Mikhail, sorry for a late reply about your inquiry for scraping the active loop documentation. So yeah, it took some time to study the markup and how the page is structured. And yeah, I do acknowledge that we should improve Bardeen and make it more smarter for similar markups. And so it would do some magic to figure out what exactly you're trying to scrape and make it a bit easier. But on this specific case on this website, I noticed it might not be as straightforward as it may seem to be. And the reason is, the first reasons I would say is that the markup of this page, as you may notice, it uses so it seems to be using a dynamic markup, meaning whatever we will come up with, whatever scraper model will come up with, it may stop working in future when this page render again, the markup gonna change. And in order to avoid that, usually when I see like a human readable class name in the markup, I realize that those are more reliable, generate scraper model on, but for similar website, it's a bit tricky. So this is one thing what I noticed that might require some customization to create a reliable scraper model. And the other one is that the clicking part, as you already noted, we had the click action, which basically clicks and can, in this case, expand those menu items. But the thing is, on this specific case, the content of top level menu, like the submenus, are rendered only after a user click on this button. Sometimes the pages hide those, and when the user click on it, it's basically showing it. But in this case, they are rendering only after clicking this button. Meaning, when we gonna generate a list scraper model, we will select all these items, but we wouldn't be selecting sub items, unfortunately. So, and when we run the scraper itself, it will expand, but already we will have like the initial containers defined, which will be the top level navigation. But what we can try doing is basically use two scraping actions. One will be clicking those top menu items with expand buttons, opening them, and the next action will be basically scraping the content both of the top level navigation and sub items of it. So this is a bit of background of what I will be doing now. So basically, let me start creating the playbook with all this pre-story. It may become a bit more clear what I meant, what I'm trying to do. So I basically have start creating a new playbook with a scraper action, and I picked up the scraping on the active tab. Assumingly you will be running it on the active tab, but we can change that in future. And let me just do it again. I actually want to, so here we go. List scraper, I would like to name it expanding menu items. Now I'm gonna pick the container. So Bardeen has picked the containers, as you can see. It seems to do a pretty good job in this case, but as I mentioned, those containers seem to me a dynamic one, so I'm not sure how long and how reliable they're gonna work. We have here, so this is what Bardeen has generated. It has generated path to those items using those dynamic items. So what I would like to do, try find some anchor element from which I'll calculate path to the containers. So here I see there is this element that has a test ID. So This is used by the developer of this tool. What was the name? I don't recall entirely. So this is a tool for generating, I guess, a documentation for software or some other general documentation. So yeah, they probably are using this for testing. So we maybe can rely on this and have it as our anchor to this sidebar. So this is great. So from this place, I would like to create reference to the top level menu items. So those guys. For that, I'll use this sign greater than and say div. So basically this sign means that I would like to select the direct child of this anchor, and this is gonna be like this element. So I'll continue moving deeper, div. So I'm selecting this element, then this one. I see there are 3 elements, so it's not gonna be like the direct first child, but it's gonna be like the 3rd one in this case. So what I will do, I'll say div of type. So it's the 3rd one. So yeah, we have selected the 3rd item, and then again div, yeah. If it doesn't make much sense, I'll share this with you, both the selectors and the playbook, so you don't need to go all of this process by yourself. So yeah, and updating. So yeah, we have updated our containers. So those will probably live longer. And second thing, what we would like to do, we would like to click on this button. The thing is, Scraper has created as a scraping tool in mind initially. So before using input actions like click, we might want to scrape something, because if we only use like the click action and click these buttons, and if that will be only things that the command will do, then we may get an error response saying that we couldn't scrape anything on this page, because expectation is that when a user is using Scraper, we expect some data to return. For that reason, I'll just say like top navigation. So one thing we can try using this as to use this top navigation and maybe merge afterwards with sub navigation, but I don't think this gonna work pretty well, unfortunately, because the thing is that we wouldn't be certain which sub navigation relates to the top navigation item. So in that case, maybe this wouldn't be a very smart solution. We basically need to return anything in this case. So maybe we can use the title so it will be more reliable. It doesn't matter what we are returning here. Just ignore this part, please. Yeah, so the thing is, now we would like to click on the expand button, get data, and here we go. Now what I would like to do is use a more reliable selector to find the button. I think it's this one, you see, it says button. So I would assume this relates to the elements that act as a expand and collapse button for this menu item. So I'll try using this selector, this attribute, and basically saying, okay, find this attribute that starts with the value button. This may do. Let's see. And yeah, I will use this as a selector for click action. So here is all the selectors Bardeen generated for selecting this expand action, but we would like to use something more reliable in this case. Yeah, this one. So scope applies to the container. So it's gonna, inside of the container, it will look for a button and click it. I think this should be good enough. Let's save it, and saving the template. And now what we're gonna do, let's let's first test whether it works or not. Active loop, scraping demo. Okay, so let's reload this page just in case. And now I would like to run this automation and see whether it's gonna click to the buttons. Oh, it seemed to work. I can see in the background. Let's see. Oh, so yeah, it seems like we have expanded menus here. Good. Yeah, Gitbook. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, we are expanding them. So now we would like to continue building our playbook. Opening the builder and new action, scrape, also on the active tab. Create new template with URL, active loop, list. And yeah, so this, yeah, here we're gonna do some black magic. So try figuring out how to keep the hierarchy and scrape all this data. Yeah, this will be a little hacky, so we'll try to find, unfortunately, a hacky solution to make work it for your specific case. And let's see what we can do here. Yeah, first thing first, we need to, yeah, this is a bit tricky, to be honest. So the markup both for top level navigation and sub items look almost identical. So there is an anchor tag that has some divs inside, anchor tag divs inside. So yeah, it's super tricky, unfortunately, in this case to figure out what is like the top level navigation, what is sub items. But what we can do in here, let me think. Okay, so again, I'll use this as an anchor for, yeah, I think I have it here. Nice. Okay, I'm selecting the items. Now I would like to select the anchor tags. So direct child of a div. So yeah, this gonna select all top level items, but I would like to also separately select the sub items. I think I know what I did. Let's see. And yeah, basically reference it to a div. Yeah, let's do like this. I'll save this part myself later. And yeah, here I'm selecting div. So this is how I can figure out if I'm selecting top level item or sub navigation. And yeah, and now we're selecting basically all sub navigation with this selector. So I'll use combination of both of those selectors. Yeah, sorry, it's becoming quite advanced and hacky solution, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, now we're selecting those guys and those guys. What I need to do next? Yeah, so yeah, let's select the top level items, call it top navigation, and let's call this, okay. Now what we have in here, so as you can see, we have two different fields, and in this way we can keep the hierarchy, and that's the reason why I didn't scrape top navigation as a first action, because in this case we can differentiate. So as you can see, right after the dataset goes all the sub navigation, which may help you to relate, say, so you would know that the sub navigation are basically related to the last sub navigation, which is dataset. And now, yeah, we would like to find the items that, so this dear auto, I'm gonna use this because this probably in here to hint that this is actual content, and it automatically can detect the direction, and depending on the language probably this direction may change, but here I think we can rely on it. So top navigation, we are removing all the selectors that were generated by Bardeen, and yeah, I'm gonna use scope, and right after I would expect to see this direction auto saving. Oh, nice. Now we're also scraping home. Cool. This is better. And for sub navigation, let me see. My screen recording tool makes my computer run very slow. Apologies for that. Yeah. Here we have direct anchors, and dear auto comes right after. So for sub navigation, I'll use, yeah, this is a bit advanced. So I'm basically selecting direct anchor tag because for top navigation we were selecting already the anchor tag. So that's why now we can differentiate this, as we are selecting for the sub navigation the elements that is one level up. I can do something like this. Okay. And yeah, this basically should do the trick. Now we also would like to get links, right? So we need to use same selectors but use link. Top navigation, we're using link, getting data. And now I'll use the same selector for the link. Yeah, I just realized that maybe I should, yeah, in future we soon add the possibility of changing the order of the fields. In this version, what I would like to do, would like to define the sub navigation again, unfortunately, and yeah. Removing all of this documentation, scope, and oh yeah, I have scope in here. Save. So, and again, let me see. Yeah, this looks correct. I'll use this link for. I'll use the selector for the link. Now, assumingly, we should get, yeah, here we go. We now are getting the link as well. Sub navigation and sub navigation link. Let me copy this selector and yeah, create a link item. Sub navigation link. This one. Okay, yeah, this looks about right. Maybe I can change the name. What am I gonna call it? Great group navigation. Saving the template, we should return to the playbook itself. Okay, now I'm going to save this and try running it. Let me refresh the page because we're gonna open the navigation items and then scrape the data. Let's see if this is gonna work. Hopefully. Okay, this looks about right. And we have more items here. Yeah, so as you can see, we can also have a relation in here. So we have here's the top navigation, and we know like those guys are related to those. And this way we can now know about the relation. Let me count this. Yeah, that's basically it, I guess. Yeah, you can also add it to the spreadsheet if you want as a result, so it may become a bit more useful. Let's add a new action. Put the name, add rows to the Google Sheet. Yeah, this one, I guess. Ask me every time, so it will ask you the name of the Google Sheet when you will be running the playbook. Saving, running, let me see. I'm not sure if one I'm using for testing is empty or not. Probably not, so we may run this twice. Yeah, so let me remove this data and run it again. Here, active scraping demo, testing, run the playbook. Let's see. Yeah, and here we go. Seemed to work. Unfortunately, it took a lot of effort. We definitely need to try make scraper smarter, or ensure to also have a specific playbook for Gitbook pages, because probably all of them might have this issue. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, so idea is we would like to separate scraper models and create a catalog for them for long run, and in that case we'll definitely provide some built-in Gitbook scrapers, so it would be much more easier to use. So yeah, just to let you know that we are working on it, and in future scraping Gitbook will be much more easier. And yeah, hope this demo was useful. I'll ensure to follow up, share the playbook, share the selectors, so it will be easier for you to replicate or just use it right away. Yeah, thank you.